Hello everyone, welcome to the most anticipated review request. In this video, I'm going to review Stardew Valley. I will be going over the history, gameplay mechanics, story, sound, and visuals of the game. In addition, I will be going over the C# programming language. I will also be discussing the Stardew Valley and C# communities. What will not be covered are the individual mods. In this video, I'll be answering the following questions. What is Stardew Valley? And is it a good game? What does Stardew Valley have in common with real life? What is C#? Is it important and interesting? What are the C# and Stardew Valley communities like? I gathered all the footage on my Linux gaming computer. The footage consists of a mixture of updates 1.5 and 1.6 clips. Let's enter Pelican Town and see what we can do. Stardew Valley is a farming life simulation and role-playing video game. Stardew Valley is inspired by Harvest Moon, which is another farm simulation and role-playing game. Stardew Valley is created with C#. In this game, players take the role of a farmer and a citizen of Pelican Town. Over time, players progress and improve their skills. Players make decisions that can impact the world, their lives, and their relationships with other characters. Players make their story and life. Stardew Valley was released on February 26, 2016. I started playing this game on update 1.5. I did not have a copy before the update 1.5. The game was developed and published by Concerned Ape. Since the update 1.3 in August 2018, the game has been maintained by a team of developers. This game is available for Windows, Linux, macOS, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation Vita, iOS, Android, and the Steam Deck. The game can be played on a computer and a Steam Deck with a keyboard, mouse, or controller. The Xbox One and DualShock 4 controllers have vibration. The game received many positive reviews on all of its platforms. People praise it for its gameplay, characters, and world. In 2016, the Wii U port got cancelled. The development efforts were shifted to the Nintendo Switch to utilize its capabilities. For the Nintendo Switch, the game is created with the Monogame framework. The Monogame framework is a free and open source C# framework. Monogame implements the XNA4 API. On March 19, 2024, Stardew Valley got the 1.6 update with major changes. C# is an object-oriented programming language developed by Microsoft. C# is part of the C programming language family, and it is very close to Java. C# runs on a .NET framework. C# is used in games, web applications, and secure applications. C# has many features such as asynchronous programming, garbage collection, nullable types, exception handling, and lambda expressions for developers to create robust and secure applications. C# is easy to install on Linux, macOS, and Windows, of course. But I am familiar with some of its syntax. The syntax is clean and easy to read. C# is an interesting and useful language to learn, but it may have a steep learning curve, as you would need to learn the .NET framework first. C# is important and useful, especially for some companies. C# is interesting because it can be used to develop many applications. Concerned Ape built this game with C# and Microsoft XNA APIs. XNA is a recursive acronym for XNA's not acronym. XNA provides a freeware set of tools for game development. As of January 2013, XNA has been discontinued. The game cost $16.99 on Steam, the Nintendo Switch store, and Good Old Games. The Xbox One port cost $18.99. The game cost $19.99 on the PlayStation PlayStation Store. On occasion, the game does go on sale. The game is not available on the Epic Games Store. In addition, Stardew Valley is available on Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass. On Steam and Good Old Games, the only paid DLC is the soundtrack. The soundtrack costs $5.49 on Steam and Good Old Games. I do not find the soundtrack as DLC annoying. The DLC is not a crucial component of the game. I will express my opinion on the soundtrack later. In the collector's edition, the soundtrack CD is included. Stardew Valley can run on a lot of computers, including Microsoft Surface and the Steam Deck. Performance may vary. Unfortunately, I don't have a Microsoft Surface, so I cannot test its performance on the Microsoft Surface. On my Linux computer, the game runs well and smoothly in full screen and windowed mode. With a GTX 1660 Ti GPU, the frame rate on a computer is above 100 frames per second. The game runs smoothly in co-op mode online and locally. In some areas, I encountered some screen tearing. I reduced the screen tearing by enabling VSync. On the Xbox One S, the game runs well. From my experience, Stardew Valley is enjoyable to play with either a controller or a keyboard and mouse. I prefer playing Stardew Valley with a keyboard and mouse. With a keyboard, I find it easy to quickly switch equipment or materials by pressing the number keys. In addition, it is easier to mine and interact with the world using my mouse. The player can rebind the controls on the computer and the consoles. Some people have fun playing it on a touch screen. With a controller, it is easy to move the characters and use the interface. I find that it takes a few seconds to select where I want to plow. In addition, it is hard to aim the shots with a slingshot by moving the joystick with the controller. With a mouse, I find my aim is more precise. The animations and graphics are great, featuring a charming pixelated style. The visuals are created with paint.net. The buildings, houses, characters, animals, items, and icons look good. In my opinion, the rooms of the buildings, farms, and homes are cozy and organized. The building and houses are made out of bricks and wood. The models and animations look good. When I zoom in, the graphics are great and detailed. However, when I zoom in on the player, I lose track of my surroundings. The world is peaceful, interesting, and great. The world captures the appearance and feeling of rural nature and country life. Smoke effects in the spa look good. I can see the pool, my character, and the area. The lightning effects are nice. As a result, the graphics are charming and colorful. I feel immersed in the world. The weather effects are great. They depict the weather pretty well. The weather report provides a forecast of the next day's weather. Although lightning strikes can scare me in real life, the lightning strikes in the game do not scare me. There is a flash on the screen and a roar of thunder. The player and NPCs do not get struck by lightning. However, lightning can damage crops. Lightning cannot damage crops in the greenhouse. Note that the flashing lights can be disabled by unchecking the show flash effects in the settings. The sound effects are great. They are appropriate and serve the settings well. The soundtrack has nice and calm music. The music matches the scenery and mood. The music genre is 8-bit. The music and sound effects are created with propeller head reason. The soundtrack is available on Amazon Music, Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. The game takes place in the countryside, where the player inherits their grandfather's old farm in Pelican Town. The story starts with the player leaving their soul-crushing job at Georgia and moving to the farm. With a farm, players can upgrade and maintain the farm. In addition, the player helps restore Stardew Valley to its greatness. Players have the freedom to do whatever they want. They can make choices such as marrying characters, completing quests, and purchasing Georgia membership. I did not encounter a lot of hand-holding. There is no ending in this game. I greatly appreciate the freedom to customize my character's home and do whatever I want in Stardew Valley. The writing in Stardew Valley is pretty good. Interactions feel like human interactions. The dialogue is well written. There's no profanity or inappropriate language. Some of the dialogue from certain characters and the player is impolite. For example, Shane's dialogue is impolite. Shane is a rude character. Later on, Shane's dialogue changes as the player improves their friendship with Shane. Stardew Valley did not teach me everything from the beginning. I had to do some research on the wiki, the internet, and the Discord server to learn about the game. There is no tutorial provided in the game. Stardew Valley is easy to learn and some parts are straightforward. Players are provided quests in their journals. The quests involve players mining a certain amount of minerals, fishing, finding items, interacting with locals, or gifting items. Some quests are timed. The timed quests do not give me a fear of missing out. Players have the option to decline quests at any time. There's no penalty for declining quests. Sometimes timed quests make me feel pressured. The quests are found at Pierre's General Store. The quests are rewarding to complete. The rewards are gold and items. When completing the quests, players can improve their relationships with other characters. In addition, players gain experience from mining, foraging, fishing, and farming. Note that items that were collected before do not count towards the resources required in quests. Pelican Town is beautiful and organized. I find it convenient to sell things after fishing near the fish shop. Near the player's farm is Pierre's General Store to buy crops, fertilizer, and seeds, and Maine's Ranch to buy livestock, eggs, and supplies. There are other places to explore, such as the sewers and the mutant bug lair. In these places, players can gain some loot. Some places require a key to access. Players can gain a key by progressing in the game. Players explore Stardew Valley's Pelican Town, Cindersap Forest, Beach, the Calico Desert, mountains, caves, mutant bug lair, and witch's hut. At the start of the game, players create and customize their characters with the character creator. There are many attributes to customize your character, such as hair and clothes. Players can choose a name for their character, pets, and children. Names can also be randomly generated by using replacer commands, special variables that insert dynamic text. Most replacer commands start with a %sign. For example, players can add a random adjective and noun to create unique randomized names. However, in my case, I decided not to use replacer commands for my player and pet names. Once players receive new clothes, they can customize their outfits in the player menu. The new clothes are rings, shirts, and pants. They change the stats of the character, such as speed and defense. Some clothes can be crafted. In addition, players can select their farm type at the same character customization menu. There are 8 different farm types. Most farm types have perks and encourage a skill. Each farm type has advantages and disadvantages. Only one type can be chosen and cannot be changed. This decision impacts the player's life by favoring specific skills in the game. The farm layout impacts what features there are, the area the player can plant, and the layout and design. The different layouts offer challenges. From my experiences, I had to do a lot of planting and mining to forage and sell materials. Players move to an area where they can grow their crops. Then they have to plow the land. After plowing, they can add fertilizer and the seed. Then they water the seed to make their crops grow. Growing crops is straightforward, rewarding, and relaxing. If the player does not water their crops, the crops do not grow or die. Some crops are multi-seasonal. Most of the crops are food in real life, such as bok choy, grapes, and strawberries. One inaccuracy in farming is the seasonal growth of crops and plants. Plants are harvested largely the same. For the most part, Concerned Ape has seasons in which plants grow correctly. However, in real life, a farmer will plant the seeds in the summer or spring. In the fall, the crops grow. In Stardew Valley, plants are harvested in the same season. Some crops realistically wouldn't grow in Stardew Valley, such as rice, melons, and coffee. The climate is not suitable for some crops. Farming is the core of daily life in Pelican Town. After harvesting food, it can be sold to Pierce General Store, gifted, or used. Selling food to Pierce General Store contributes to the local economy. In addition, the game does not provide a tractor to plow the soil and harvest crops. All farming is done manually or in the greenhouse. Instead, there is a mod with a tractor. Horses do not plow fields in this game. Every night, there is a chance that the crows will eat some crops. Scarecrows prevent the crows from eating crops. There are no crows on Ginger Island. There are many types of fertilizers in Stardew Valley. The basic fertilizer can be created with tree sap. The others are retaining soil, speed grow, and tree fertilizer. Players unlock new fertilizer types as they level up in farming. In addition, fertilizers can be purchased at Pierce General Store. Some of the fertilizer is useless, such as water retaining soil. In addition, players can raise farm animals in coops. Players feed farm animals. The animals produce eggs, feathers, mayonnaise, and wool. When it comes to foraging, the items are randomly generated. There are usually items at the bus station, secret woods, and cindersap forest. I rarely find useful items such as food in garbage cans. As a warning, the locals will feel disgusted if the player tries to look in garbage cans. Players can explore a garbage can once a day. In addition, players can find some items near the railroad. A train comes to the station randomly by chance. The train drops random items to the player. The railroad captures the appearance of a train station well. If the player approaches or attacks the train, they take damage. At their homes, players can choose where to organize and place furniture. Players can craft items such as fences and chests. The items can be used as tools, donated to the museum, sold for gold, or complete bundles in the community center route. The beach is pretty nice. On the beach, players can forage for clams. Players can fish at the docks, but they cannot swim in the water. Players can develop relationships with many characters through gift giving and communication. In addition, players can marry and divorce characters. Once players are good friends with most characters, they can enter their rooms to explore their homes. One exception is Leah. The player needs to be good friends with Leah to enter her home during the summer, spring, and fall. Players can view their relationships with other characters in the menu. The menu shows how many hearts a character has. More hearts indicate a good relationship. This is the game's karma system. Players gain hearts by doing good actions and gifting items that characters love. Players lose hearts by doing bad actions and gifting items characters dislike. Most of the characters are polite to the player. Some characters have awful personalities. Some of the characters are interesting. The characters provide quests to the players. The characters make Stardew Valley interesting. They give Pelican Town life, making it feel like an active and living place. In addition, players can choose to raise a pet such as a cat or dog. I am raising a cat. Players can name their pets. Players can give their pets water by filling up their water bowl. The player can click on them to show affection. Players manage their inventory, energy, gold, and health. Inventory can be increased by purchasing a backpack at Pierce General Store. Energy is the main resource. It is required to complete tasks such as farming and fishing. Health is used to determine how much damage a player can take. Health is only shown in combat zones. Health and energy are replenished by eating food and sleeping. Negative energy foods such as sap can reduce energy. Without energy, players cannot perform tasks and will move slowly. The pacing is sluggish. The speed is slower than walking. Energy is reduced if the player stays up late. When a player dies in Stardew Valley, the player loses some of their equipment and wakes up in a hospital. Some health is replenished. When my character dies, I feel frustrated. Marlon can recover lost equipment at a small price. Whether the player gets them back, in other words, from his or her mailbox, is up to chance. In addition, players manage their space and storage. Players can expand storage on the farm with chests. Gold is the currency in Stardew Valley. Players can collect gold by selling items and completing quests. Players use gold to purchase seeds, items, buildings, upgrades, and equipment. From my experience, getting gold is slow and requires a lot of work in the early game. There are 2 routes to take in Stardew Valley: the Joja route and the Community Center route. These routes improve Pelican Town and unlock new features. The Community Center route involves players giving items to Junimos to help restore the community center. With the restored community center, there is a ceremony. The Junimos help restore Stardew Valley. Players have the option to purchase Joja's membership. With Joja's membership, Joja can help maintain Stardew Valley. The community center will be replaced with the Joja warehouse. Note that purchasing Joja's membership is not a bad decision. Joja Mart has prices that are more expensive than Pierre's General Store for non-members. With a Joja membership, the prices are the same. There are mini games like the fishing mini game. The fishing mini game requires a player to keep the fish within a green bar. Stardew Valley captures the anticipation of the bite. If the player successfully catches an item with their fishing rod, they get alga, fish, or trash. This mini game is rewarding and also frustrating. Although this sounds ironic, let me explain. It is rewarding when I catch fish, items, or alga. At least alga is a useful item for crafting food and replenishing health and energy. It is frustrating when I get nothing or trash. For me, it requires a lot of clicking to keep the fish within a green bar. The green bar moves wildly in the first few mini games of fishing. It is easy to get the fish when the player gains experience in fishing. Depending on the location and time, players get various types and lengths of fish. Players can add bait to the iridium and fiberglass fishing rods. Bait cannot be added to the training rod and the bamboo rod. With bait, players can attract more fish. Bait lowers the chances of getting trash. Unfortunately, cheese, corn, and bread cannot be used as bait in Stardew Valley. The bait is crafted from bug meat or produced from a worm bin. Another type of bait is the magnet. The magnet increases the chance of finding treasure chests by 15%. Most of the fish in Stardew Valley are real-life fish, mollusks, and crustaceans such as anchovies, squid, and lobsters. There are some fictional fish such as glacier fish, lava eel, and ice pip. On occasion, there is a treasure chest in the mini game. If the player catches the fish successfully, they will be rewarded with the fish and random loot. Players are not required to get the treasure chest to complete the fishing mini game. Stardew Valley hosts events every season. Attendance is optional. At the events, players participate in potlucks, participate in mini games, and speak with villagers. Players are notified of the events in advance by Mayor Lewis. During the event, a pop-up appears on the left side of the screen. The events are interesting, fun, and exciting. I had a great time interacting with the community. The events do not give me a fear of missing out. Players battle monsters such as cave flies, slimes, worms, bugs, and duggies. The monsters come in many variants. I'm not going to discuss every monster. Most of the monsters move up to the player when they spot the player. If the player and monster collide with one another, the player takes damage. Combat is simple. Players whack enemies with a weapon such as a sword, slingshot, dagger, and clubs by going near the enemies and clicking on them. The damage number is helpful. It is shown to see how much damage they do. Once the monster is defeated, players gain some meat. Rarely a defeated monster drops loot. Some weapons have alternative attacks or blocks. Players can block the attacks to reduce damage. There is a slight knockback on the enemy. The bugs are easy to defeat. They move up and down or left and right. They ignore the player. The rock crabs are disguised as rocks. Their shell can be taken off with a pickaxe. When their shell is removed, they flee. When rock crabs move, players can cause damage to them. Slimes are easy to defeat. They can be overwhelming when they are in groups. Sometimes defeating a large slime produces smaller slimes. The slimes make a dash attack. If the player does not block or dodge the dash attack, the player is covered in slime, takes damage, and moves slowly for a few seconds. One annoying enemy is the cave fly. The cave fly can move through walls and damage the player. Cave flies move fast. When the cave fly goes through walls, the player cannot damage the cave fly. This makes the fights feel unfair. From my experience, they can flank and damage the player. When there are swarms, it is annoying, overwhelming, and unfair to fight. The swarms happen sometimes. However, with better equipment, it is easier to manage the swarms. Duggies ambush the player from the sand below. They leave holes in the sand. Furthermore, they are easy to fight. I find moving a lot and away from the sand helps. The enemies get more dangerous and stronger the deeper the player gets into the mines. Over time, players can purchase or obtain better weapons and clothes. As a result, the clothes and weapons help make fights easy or fair. In addition, the mines are darker. This makes the mines feel a bit tense sometimes. Players can use torches, campfires, and glow rings to see in the dark. Weapons and tools can be upgraded by mining copper and with coins. They are upgraded at the blacksmith. With upgrades, the tools perform better at their tasks. In addition, players can find stronger weapons in the mines. Weapons can be purchased from the shop. Every time all players go to bed, the game gets saved. Stardew Valley does not have an autosave feature. If players quit their game before bed, they restart the entire day. A feature that confuses me is why there is an ability to walk in Stardew Valley. I find walking to be slow. There are no benefits to walking. In most of the footage, I run around in the game. The only time the game forces walking is in cutscenes and at the spa's pool. There is a setting that allows players to always run called auto run. I recommend turning it on. In addition, there are some challenging and fun arcade games at the Stardew Saloon. The arcade games are Journey of the Prairie King and Junimo Kart. There are no stories in the arcade games. The Journey of the Prairie King involves the player shooting waves of enemies with balls from multiple directions. The player has 3 lives. When a player gets hit once, the player loses a life. There are power-ups that grant extra lives and allow the player to shoot enemies in multiple directions. I find this arcade game challenging and fun. When I lose the game, I find it frustrating sometimes. Junimo Kart is an arcade game where players ride a mine cart. The Junimo jumps over the obstacles and collects coins. The jumps require timing. When I miss a jump, I sometimes feel frustrated. Some places, such as the sewers, require a key. The key is rewarded as players progress through the game. Stardew Valley has co-op gameplay. In co-op mode, you can play with friends and interact with the world together. Players can find some in the Stardew Valley Discord server and the Looking For group channels. Co-op mode is similar to single player in Stardew Valley. There are 2 co-op modes. Local co-op allows players to play Stardew Valley together with an extra keyboard or controller. Online co-op requires an internet connection and a code. For PC gamers, players can play Stardew Valley with their friends on Linux, Mac, or Windows. There's no cross-platform co-op between different platforms. For example, players cannot play Stardew Valley with one player on a computer and another player on the Xbox One. In co-op mode, players can perform tasks effectively. If one player gets exhausted, in co-op mode, they respawn back to the bed. Co-op mode makes the game fun. It is a nice addition to the game that enhances the experience. A player can play with up to 4 other players. On PC, the limit can go up to 10 players by changing the startup preferences. I don't know how the game will perform with up to 10 players. players. Stardew Valley does not have voice chat. Instead, there is a text chat where players can communicate with each other. Players must use an external program such as Discord or TeamSpeak for voice chat. Co-op mode is easy and quick to set up. Players can play locally with each other. For online co-op, one player starts a co-op game and shares the invite code with their friends. The website and wiki are great resources. They help me learn more about Stardew Valley and its lore. In addition, the forum, Reddit, and Discord servers are organized and active. The communities are friendly, relaxing, and helpful. Members are required to create an account to post in the forum. Stardew Valley has many Discord servers for various languages and modding communities. The community is helpful and friendly. The unofficial Stardew Valley server provides support for mod development. There are multiple places to chat because Stardew Valley is a very big game. In the Stardew Valley and Stardrop Saloon Discord servers, players discuss Stardew Valley and support each other. Users share memes, art, and photos. They are discoverable on Discord. Many people join daily. The moderators are polite and professional. The rules are good and fair. The channels are organized. There are many voice chats where people can discuss and stream. There is a mod showcase to promote and learn about mods. A special mention goes to the C# server. In this server, members talk about the C# programming language, share content, and socialize. The members are positive and kind. Another unofficial server is C#in, a Discord server dedicated to learning C#. The staff are friendly. The channels are well organized and have clear names. The rules are fair. Overall, I enjoy Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is a relaxing and fun farming simulator and role-playing game. It is easy to run and performs well on many platforms. I enjoyed learning and exploring the village. I enjoyed learning about how C# is used to create the mods and games. Stardew Valley has most things in common with real-life farming. Concerned Ape captures most of the elements of farming and fishing pretty well. Stardew Valley took me a long time to get this review done. There is a lot of things to discuss. The arcade games are fun and challenging. The game has some frustrating moments. For the final verdict, I give this game an 8 out of 10. Stardew Valley is great, relaxing, and fun. First of all, I want to thank the Stardew Valley community on Discord for helping me learn about Stardew Valley and making this script. I had a great time chatting and meeting with you. Next, I want to thank everyone who has helped me out in this review video. Thanks Shadi for helping me proofread the C# sections. Thanks Mass Nelson for helping me out with the co-op footage. I enjoyed playing the co-op sections. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next video.